Hey YouTube, what's up? In JT Sasuke. I'm here to bring you my review for Doctor Who, so jumping right into it. Basically, we start off this story with Danny's death. Clara and Danny are talking. She's talking to Danny as if it's gonna be her last time. So she ends up telling him she loves him over and over again, and he reciprocates that love. All of a sudden, a random woman picks up his phone and tells her that he got hit. She runs to the scene to see Danny being carted away with a sheet over his head, over his body, in an ambulance. And then Danny ends up waking up. He's in an office building. The guy comes in to ask him if he's had a coffee, and he said no. So the guy yells out to get some coffee. You know what I mean? The guy yells out to get some coffee in here. The good kind. They start chatting, and basically the guy slowly breaks it to Danny that he's dead, and that this is the afterlife, but it's not actually the afterlife. It's basically a place to give them more life. So like basically after you die, they give you another place to live, so you don't have to die. But you're connected into still connected to your old body, your soul is, but you also have a new body. But you can feel everything because Danny was cold throughout most of the episode whenever he was shown, and that's because his dead actual body was in a cold place. So eventually they ended up asking him some questions, and the subject matter came along where they asked if he killed anybody because he was a soldier. That's when he started having PTSD, and he started remembering the day that he killed a young boy. And that had to be very traumatizing for him because nobody wants to actually be the one to kill a young child. You know what I mean? So I know he had to feel completely terrible about that, and he had to deal with that guilt every day of his life. So moving forward, they actually arranged a meeting where they met where the boy came to meet Danny, but he was scared, so he eventually ended up running away. But the guy was like, "Look, I wouldn't follow him if I were you, and whatnot." And then he said that you got a request for a call, and it's from Clara. Now, Clara is basically saying that she wants to come with him, and she wants to be with him, but she needs to know that it is him. She got this idea from the doctor, so she had to ask him some questions, and basically she was basically asking him questions that only Danny himself would know because she wanted to make sure that it wasn't a fake. And he kept saying "I love you," and that wasn't enough for her. She wanted him to answer the questions, but he kept saying "I love you" because she kept saying that she wanted to go with him. She wanted to be with him no matter what. And eventually she told him, "If you say I love you one more time, I'm going to flip off this thing so that way we can't talk anymore." And he said it, and she switched it off. So he basically saved her from killing herself to be with him. That's true love, in my opinion. On both sides, the fact that she's willing to give up her life to be with him, but the fact that he's willing to let her go so that way she can live. I love that dynamic. That they're both willing to go to extremes just to make sure that the other is happy. Just that one is willing to go to extremes to be with the one that she loves, while the other is willing to do what he has to do to make sure that the one that he loves lives. So that's awesome. But we go to Clara's story, and like that's where Daniel's story ends. We go to Clara's story, and basically, um, she ends up after Danny got hit, and she sees him getting carted away. So we end up seeing a memorial on the sidewalk where he is, and Clara has to change her clothes. So some time passed. We don't know how much, but then we see her in her kitchen. Her grandma comes in and tells her that it's time to accept the fact that Danny is dead and move on. She starts then saying that it wasn't a sad thing, it was actually kind of boring, which made me feel like she was under some type of spell or mind control. Eventually, she gets a call from the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Hey, sorry, I was busy. What's up?" And she was like, "I want to go somewhere." She was like, "Where?" They're like, "A volcano." Like, "Why a volcano?" Because I just want to go. Eventually, she ends up getting picked up in the TARDIS, and she starts talking about the volcanoes again. The doctor tells you that the volcano is nothing but a leaky mountain, nothing special. It was basically just that little part that I'm about to describe, and basically just it seems like a shout out to the fires of Pompeii, just like a little ha ha he he thing. But She goes around the TARDIS while the Doctor is doing something on the council. I think it's opening something, but she goes around the TARDIS and she finds all the TARDIS keys, all seven of them, and then she asked the doctor about the sleeping pads. She was like, hey, do you still have the sleeping pads? He was like, yes. She was like, do you still have trouble sleeping? He was like, yeah, I do, but you can't get one. And she was like, can I? No, you can't. I'm not, so stop asking. She takes two anyways after she finds them, slaps them both on the doctor's neck, and the doctor goes to sleep. Wakes up, Clara has the five TARDIS keys, and she said that Danny Pink is dead, and I want you to bring him back. And he said that he's not going to do it. And she said, don't lie to me, you can do it. I've seen you break any rule that you want, time can be rewritten. He was like, yes, carefully and with extreme precision it can. But I'm not going to interfere in something like this. This is literally going to be messing with your personal time stream. If I bring Danny Pink back, you will never have done this. And she was like, I don't care, do it. He said no. She threw a TARDIS key into the lava and said that you need something very powerful to destroy TARDIS key. That's why I brought us here. If every time you say no to me, I will throw another TARDIS key in the river, in the not the river, in the lava. She asked him to save him. He said no. Threw it in there. The doctor decided to try and take control of the situation by daring her to do it, thinking that she wouldn't do it if he egged her on. Eventually, she ended up realizing that she was like, you're trying to take control of the situation. She was like, I'm already in control. So go ahead, Clara, do it. Get rid of them all. I don't care. And Clara took four of them, threw them in the lava, left them a one, and said, look, if you don't, look, you got one more chance. Otherwise, this is going in the otherwise this is going in the lava. And he was like, my Clara, I don't think you will. Trying to stop her, she throws it in the lava. The key melts. He gets pissed off, but she breaks down, and she has a random snap of awareness. Like, oh my God, what did I just do? And she starts crying. She starts breaking down, saying, Doctor, what have I done? I've done a terrible thing. Doctor was like, Clara, I need you to calm down. She was like, no, I can't. Look what I've done. And he was like, Clara, look at your hands. She had sleeping pads on them. He then told her after they went back into the TARDIS that the sleeping pads won't work on him. No, he was like, did you really think that would work on me? What I did was when you touched me, I put them on your hands and then put you into a sleep-like state. So the sleeping pads don't actually put you to sleep, but they put you into a sleep-like state. And then he switched out the real keys with fake ones and allowed her to believe that the situation was going according to her plan. Because he wanted to see how far she would go. And she responded, well, now you see how far I will go. He was like, yes, I do. And she was like, so what now for us? He started up the TARDIS and said, go to hell. And she was like, okay, that's an understandable answer. That's a very understandable answer. Started walking away. And he was just like, no, Clara, what are you doing? We're going to hell. She was like, what do you mean? We're going to find Danny. He was like, we're going to find Danny. We're going to save him if we can. She was like, but I betrayed you. He was like, yeah, you betrayed me. You betrayed my trust. You let me down, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to stop. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop caring about you. So that just lets me know that the Doctor has some human characteristic inside into him. Now we move on, and basically the rest of the episode is finding out that they go to they basically finding out some stuff. So the psychic link her to the TARDIS. The TARDIS brings her to the place where she feels like her and Danny will meet back up. They meet up at this place that has a lot of dead bodies. We find out that that place is actually a way to give the dead people a way to, live on. As you know, that's what we find out from Danny Pink's side and Clara and the Doctor's side. We end up meeting Missy face to face. She ends up making out with the Doctor and pretending she's an android. And at the end of the day, there were like skeletons and water. We call basically I forgot what the water was called, but basically the water only showed like organic material. So that literally made me think that didn't make me think anything actually. I just thought it was cool. I should have tipped me off because then they had a bunch of skeletons in the water. Skeletons were moving. I'm like, okay, well if the water can only hold organic material and the skeletons aren't, and the bones aren't floating away. What the hell is holding the skeleton together? Basically, it was just they were transferring the minds from the a big Gallifreyan device that holds consciousness from the device to the Cybermen, creating a Cyberman army. And Missy reveals herself as the master. Oh, Danny Pink, he got the option to delete his mind, and he didn't press it yet, so we'll see next episode. Sorry this video is so long, but I actually downloaded some software so that way now I can record as long as I like. Try and keep these pretty short, but I wanted to really go into detail about this episode since I have the software. Now I can actually give you my thoughts on this. I thought the episode was pretty good. A lot of people don't like what a lot of people don't like what um, Clara has done. A lot of people are starting to really hate Clara's character. I don't see what all the hate is for. I think Clara's character is great. It gives her a lot of dynamic, and it really shows just how much the human emotion of love can be so powerful. Especially when we do especially when we lose someone that we love. So um, I like Clara's reaction, and I like the fact that she would go so far just to get Danny back, and it made the doctor want to get him back too. So hey, that's a win in my book. If you can push the doctor to the point where, okay, I see where she's willing to go, let me not make her go there. I'll just run with it and try and bring him back for you. Um, it was a good episode. Later on in the episode, I started suspecting that Missy was the master, but it was like towards the end, and then when she revealed herself as the master, I was like, I knew it. A lot of people are speculating that they made the master a female just because they want to test the waters and see if it would be okay for a female doctor. My opinion, even though the doctor has been a man for the last 13 people that have played him, I don't see why the doctor can't be a woman. I think it'd be cool, give it a new dynamic. I feel like if the doctor was going to be a woman, she'd have to be a bit darker than Peter Capaldi. I am a little bit disappointed with just how dark Peter Capaldi's character is, because I wanted his doctor to be like the dark doctor. And that's what I thought we were getting, especially with the vibe of the first episode, because the first episode is my favorite one so far. But the entire season is still pretty good. I like the entire season. Um, so yeah, it was a great episode. I can't wait for next week's. I think that there's going to be either a big battle or some type of strategic, or is it going to be war or a strategic battle between Missy or the Mistress and the Doctor? So we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching. Comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.